Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stoner, with another episode of VSW. Thank you, everybody, very, very much. I'm happy to be here. I know you're happy to be listening. Tonight we are talking about Wrestlemania 5. This is the big one, folks. The Mega Powers explode. 1989, 20,369 in attendance at the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City in New Jersey. What a spectacle. You know, you had Macho Man as being the champion from winning off of WrestleMania 4. He won that tournament. You know, Hogan friended him. They became one of the best makeshift tag teams ever, the Mega Powers. And, you know, they were great tag team. But over time, jealousy occurred over Miss Elizabeth, over everything. And these two were about to explode. This was a great WrestleMania, in my opinion. A lot of matches, fully stacked card, a lot of great action. You had Red Rooster defeating Bobby the Brain Heenan. You know, the Brain, by this point, was far beyond wrestling. You know, he was into it. He could still do it, but, you know, it was known more for his commentary, I think, and managership. Red Rooster Terry Taylor never really became much, I don't think, in my opinion. Kind of got gypped out of a lot of things. And really just kind of took a pounding in the industry. Bad News Brown versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan was a great match. It went to a no contest, but this was a straight brawler match. I don't know if you watched a lot of Bad News Brown wrestling. If you have, then you know what I'm talking about. He's just a bruiser. A Bad News bruiser. And he was great. He was great. One of my favorite wrestlers at the time. And Hacksaw, just a great scrapper. So these two together was just a tremendous event. You know, a real slugfest. If that's your thing. And at this time it wasn't always about the wrestling ability. And listen, we were about big muscles, a lot of action, a lot of strength, brute force. You know, larger than life characters. It was the rock and roll era. It was, you know, things were just grandiose. What a matchup, though, between those two. Then you had Hercules, you know, Hercules and Hernandez defeating King Haku with Bobby the Brain Heenan. And I think this is when Hercules became face. And you know, no, this is a great classic matchup. Both superstars. You know how I feel about Hercules. He's a tremendous wrestler. And then you have Haku, just a legend in the game. These two gave it their all on that night. Just really, really a great match. You know, for years, you know, Hercules was part of the Bobby the Brain stable. And, you know, after that, you know, the Brain sold his contract off to Ted DiBiase. And, you know, this changed a lot of things for Hercules. You know, the storytelling back then was very, very different than it is now, in my opinion. There was legit stories that took place, and with the little limited pay-per-views, it went a long time over. This is also the year, you know, during this time, WrestleMania 5, that the WrestleMania, the video game, was released to the Nintendo. And this is pretty cool, because if you ever played that game, it's one of, like, the best games. It has the best roster, in my opinion. But yeah, besides about that. But yeah, Hercules beating King Haku. And that was just a great matchup. Okay, so then you have the Twin Towers. The Big Boss Man Akeem with Slick defeating the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Maya Janae. They were one of my favorite tag teams of all time. It's the Twin Towers. A little controversial, I guess, especially now with New York and everything and then so forth. But I don't know. I'm a huge Akeem one-man gang fan. Boss Man is a legend. They were great heels, slick. I love their theme song. I love it all. It is great. Great matchup. The Rock is a great, HBK in his early times. And this is, this is how, like I said, this was actually, if I'm corrected about this, this was actually Shawn Michaels' WrestleMania debut. And, as he would become known later as Mr. WrestleMania. So that's kind of tremendous if you think about it. So long ago in 1989, I look at Shawn Michaels now and what he's become and what he has done. It's great. You had the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, Virgil, and Brutus the Barber Beefcake fought to a double countout. Nobody won that match. And this happened a lot back then. Double countouts, double endings, no winners, no contests. A lot more than you see now. A lot more than you see now. Classic WWF, WWE action. Then you had the Bushwhackers, Luke and Butch, defeating the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers with Jimmy the Mouth of the South. If you like tag team wrestling, you'll love the Bushwhackers. They're from down under, and they're just the wankiest, wackiest wrestling duo you've ever seen. They'll lick your head and everything. It's great. It is great. You had Mr. Perfect defeating the Blue Blazer. Rest in peace, Owen Hart. What a sad situation is that, if you know anything about that, or if you've seen Dark Side of the Ring or anything, or relived it, watch it. During that era, you know all about the tragedy that happened to Owen Hart, a.k.a. the Blue Blazer. Mr. Perfect defeating him, but the Blazer really, stunning the crowd. You had Dino Bravo with Frenchie Martin defeating Rugged Ronnie Garvin. Rugged Ronnie Garvin is just a tremendous wrestler. One of my favorite of all time. Just superstar, man's man. And great. And, it was a really intense battle between the two. And Garvin almost got it with the sleeper, but Dino taking the victory. You had then also the tag team, the Brainbusters of Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, with Bobby the Brain Heenan defeating Strikeforce, Tito Santana, and Rick the Model Martel. Great tag teams, all around action. This is the tag teams that they had at the time. This is the division, how stacked it was. Classic action, classic superstars. You can't top that. You can't beat that. It doesn't even compare to today, Today is just nothing compared to then, rather. It just isn't. You just had these things. You had the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart defeating Greg the Hammer Valentine, Honky Tonk Man with Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, Rhythm and Blues. Another great tag team action match. Just so much fun. Just so much fun in the tag team division back then. Yeah, Jake the Snake Roberts defeating Andre the Giant with Bobby the Brain Heenan via DQ with the special guest referee of Big John Studd. Look at the stardom in that matchup. I mean, Andre is well past his prime here, way past it. He was past it in 3, let's just say. But he's way past it now, but he, probably wasn't his best match, but I remember being excited because, you got the Snake, you got Jake the Snake, always riling people up. And Andre was definitely afraid of the Snake. He would always run. He eliminated himself out of the Rumble, because of that Snake. It's great. You had the World Tag Team Champion match, Demolition, Action Smash, defeating the Powers of Pain, Warlord and Barbarian with Mr. Fuji to retain their title. I love Demolition as champions. I still, my favorite tag team of all time, even when they had Crush. It's just one of the best. This, like I said, the most stacked you're ever going to see the tag division in the WWE. Is back then. You had the Intercontinental Championship match, ravishing Rick Rude with Bobby the Brain Heenan defeating the Ultimate Warrior to become the new champion. And what a champion he was. Both of these guys would battle back and forth for both titles. Rude never beating him for the world title, but they did go back and forth, and they would have battles, and it was a high rivalry between the two. I'm a huge fan of this rivalry. They had a pose off, a pose down. They did so much together. It's great. Just was, you know. You had Roddy Piper coming back a little bit and doing some, promo work and stuff. And he sprayed Morton Downey with a fire extinguisher for smoking on Piper's pit. That was hilarious. It was funny. These are the things that they did back then, bringing in different celebrities, different people. You know, you had Run MDMC there too as well. You know, it was just a great event. You also had now the World Championship. You know, the Mega Powers explode. Like I said, one of the greatest makeshift tag teams breaking apart. Starting this feud, Macho Man, the champion from the year before, turning heel, eventually into the Macho King. And he would eventually be with Sherry for a while and just go on from there. But besides that, Hulk Hogan getting the victory, becoming the new world champion, beating Macho Man. And Hulkamania was running wild again. I don't know how people felt. It was very mixed. A lot of people are Macho Man fans. A lot of people are Hogan fans at the time, so it was very mixed. You know, yeah, he was a heel, but he was a face heel. Everybody loved him. So I can't say for one way or another that the fan was behind anybody. But I thank you for listening in to WrestleMania 5 recap. This has been great. I'm your host, the Versace Stoner. Next up, we'll do 6 next time you listen if you're following along. And I thank you for listening. Versace out.